Chris the Nightmare Real, and you're watching Mission Boxing Today on YouTube.
Heavyweight boxing fans, what's the deal? All right, man. So I was listening to one of the live streams earlier today. I was checking out my man Baylor Rick TV, and there was a segment in his live stream, and I was in the comment section, leaving comments and listening at the same time in the chat room rather. And man, I wish I could have called in and just had some dialogue with him about this, but the fight came up. He started talking about Ortiz versus David Allen. And of course, Ortiz is the huge favorite in the fight. We all know that, all right? But he was just giving his opinion on some of the ways that David Allen perhaps could win the fight and pull it off. He brought up some good points, man. How will Luis Ortiz look if somebody is going to his body, banging away at his body, making him miss? Making him go to another gear as far as his conditioning and test his stamina. He brought up some good points, but what I was saying was all those are great points, and I've said those same things. And you can also throw in how would he deal with somebody that has a good jab that can fight him from the outside and make him miss to where he can't place those hard shots. We've seen what happens when, and of course we know that Malik Scott didn't put out anything offensively. He was just there strictly to play defense. But somebody that can mix up some of that movement, that footwork, and add in some placing some shots and sitting down on some punches and making them count. You know what I mean? How would he deal with that? How would he deal with a Tyson Fury or even a Deontay Wilder or somebody like that, right? The thing with Allen, though, is he's not the person that can bring that out, in my opinion. Let me tell you why. Now, Allen isn't some small dude. You know, he's 6'3", 240-pound dude, stays in the gym. I like the kid, man. Tough, durable. I think he had, 11 fights? Doesn't even have double-digit wins yet. You know what I mean? So, but stylistically, this is the reason why I said this is a nightmare. Stylistically, it's a nightmare for David Allen because he likes to come forward. Sometimes, I've seen in the DILLIAN WHYTE fight, he can get a little bit lazy and lackadaisical on the inside. He just doesn't throw his hands enough. He's right there. He's moving his head. He's bobbing and weaving, not throwing. You know, for whatever reason. Maybe he'll throw more on fight night against Luis Ortiz. Maybe he'll fight out of his mind. I'm not sure, but Gavin, he threw a little bit more. Some of the lesser guys he fought, he threw a little bit more because the confidence was there to throw those shots. Maybe the confidence probably wasn't all the way there against DILLIAN WHYTE. You know what I mean? Yeah, man, I mean, he got some good fundamental skills. He moves his head, moves his upper body. Just doesn't throw enough, man. He just doesn't throw enough. And I think it's going to be very dangerous for him to try to follow Luis Ortiz around. Because you can get walked into an uppercut. You know, Luis Ortiz is surgical with that left hand when you're trying to walk him down and be the aggressor. Jennings did it. We seen what happened. Thompson was trying to do a little bit. I mean, he can be surgical with it, man. And he does a great job of placing shots. You know, he'll kind of, throw his right jab and then come with a straight left and then a hook and then boom, step back in with a hard left uppercut. Or he does a good job of leading with strong right hooks. You know, so I can see Allen getting walked into something like that. If he tries to stay flat-footed and just try to do the whole, I'm just going to move my upper body and make you miss type of thing with my guards up. When you got your guards up like that, I think that Luis Ortiz is going to place shots around you. I mean, he knows how to place shots around gloves and through your guard and under your elbow, hit you right on the ribs. He's great at placing these type of shots, man. I think Allen needs to just go for broke. Seriously, just go out there and just go for broke, man. And I've seen Allen drop his hands against DILLIAN WHYTE. Because like I told you, White was throwing kind of filler shots in that fight where he'll kind of just, some guys will, throw a combination out there, but they're not placing those shots or nothing. Every punch has the same speed on it, has the same power on it. Just being a very predictable puncher. He was doing that against Allen. So Allen, he was able to taste White's power, knew that, he's not going to do nothing with hitting me with those shots. Different ball game with Luis Ortiz. Different ball game with Luis Ortiz, man. In my opinion, at least. I just think it's a stylistic nightmare. You know, I pretty much just gave all my reasons as to why. And if Luis Ortiz is walking you down and you're not really, you know, putting out anything, you're pretty much going to be there just to survive. Unless you have this masterclass jab to where you can stay away from him and fight him at distance and range. I don't think Allen has that in his arsenal. I haven't seen it. Maybe you guys can send me footage of him showing his masterclass jab, but I've never seen it from the few fights that I've seen of David Allen. I know he's just a strong young kid that likes to come forward and likes to initiate a fight. And he will bend and roll and, you know, try to slip under shots, but he's pretty much right there, though. You know what I mean? It's not his feet. It's just his upper body movement, but the body's still there to be hit, to be punished. And the fact that he likes to initiate, it may get him in trouble. You know, and Baylor Rick brought up a point. He said maybe this can play out like Jennings, you know, where Jennings, not a lot of amateur experience, fought Klitschko and was able to push Klitschko 12 rounds. Okay, I understand that part, but what you also have to consider is at least Jennings, when he went into the Klitschko fight, I mean, at least he did beat Andre Fedosa, right? At least he did beat Artur Spilka, guys who are tough, durable guys. David Allen has beat nobody near that caliber. Shit, you can argue. Now, we can argue this. We can argue that DILLIAN WHYTE may be on the level of a Spilka and Fedosa. We can argue that. You know what I mean? So, I get what Baylor Rick is saying as far as the inexperience, a guy that likes to come forward and initiate, going in there against somebody that's has a wealth of experience, size advantage, and different things like that. But I think it's slightly different. I understand where you're coming from. I think it's slightly different because Lee Jennings has some good quality wins on him, whereas Allen, what's his best win? Jason Gavern's his best win. You know what I mean? And his claim to fame is going the distance with DILLIAN WHYTE. You know what I mean? Whereas Jennings had two decent wins, Fedosa and Spilka, in my opinion at least. Speaking of Jennings, man, I wish he would use that 84-inch reach better than he does. It's just hard to watch a guy, man, that just want to fight for mid-range when he has 84-inch reach. He just needs to be popping that jab. That's just me, though. What do I really know, right? What do I really know? You know what I mean? But, and then stylistically with Klitschko, too, man, at this stage, he's more of a, left jab, right hand, left jab, jab again, and try to grab you, tie you up, walk you backwards, that type of thing. You know, where Ortiz, I think he's about placing hard shots, especially that uppercut, and that's the punch I think is going to be there for him. He may throw lead uppercuts. He's dangerous with those lead punches. Allen likes to hang in sometimes when he put up his high guard. He'll lean over sometime. He's right there for an uppercut. And Ortiz, he has different ways to set up these shots, man. Different ways. And I see Allen getting walked into something, or I see him trying to stand flat-footed and make Ortiz miss by just, bending at the waist and trying to give him the shoulder and do. But I think Ortiz is too clever for that. He's going to figure that out. That's right down his alley, man. That whole trying to play chess and pick your spots, and I don't think it's going to be a good night for him. I really don't, man. But that's just my opinion on this. You guys let me know what you thought about what I had to say. Obviously we know Ortiz is the favorite, but what are some of the ways you think that David Allen can possibly win? Leave it in the comment section. Curious to hear it. I'm out.